Hi guys, Mr. 3D here, and welcome to today's video. In today's video, I'd like to talk to you about the recent buff introduced for the Vault and how it's now kind of capable of surviving on its own in some 1v1 encounters. Now, through playing around with the Vault from before patch and after the patch, I can tell you that yes, it does hit. It does actually have a punch towards it now. And I can definitely say that if you're someone that wants to try the Vault, yeah, now's a good time. But do be aware that this weapon still isn't that great as it was before when the TitanFall 2 was first released. Now, let's go back for a kind of brief history back on TitanFall 2 when it was first released. When TitanFall 2 was first released, the Vault was one of the top tier weapons to be used by a lot of players, simply for the fact that it had great damage and it shot very accurately compared to all the other weapons that used to shake, and this basically meant that for PC players and console players, they were able to take people out from long distances with this weapon without worrying about bullet drop and basically take out opponents as quickly as possible, because this weapon had the damage, it had the accuracy, and whether you ADS'd or not didn't matter, as the weapon was too accurate and too powerful to use. Then, however, it got nerfed, and in many ways, yes, it did deserve to be nerfed because it was kind of too powerful compared to all the other weapons. And then it got nerfed again, and then again, and then it was at that third point where the weapon came out to be kind of rubbish. And even before, I didn't think I would even touch the weapon because it was so poor. It was so poorly nerfed that you would be losing more encounters rather than even fighting and surviving. And it didn't even matter if you were the first person to land a shot, as 9 times out of 10 you were always going to lose. Now, however, they've recently buffed the weapon, and what I can read from it, the patch basically says that the Vault has now received a near damage and amp near damage increase. So what I can genuinely say is that it's normal when it's not amped, it's going to be hitting standard, so it could be doing a bit more damage than it was before. And when amped, it's going to be doing a ton of more damage. Not going to be like a 3 to 4 shot, but say around maybe a 4 to 5 shot at best, depending on where you aim your shots. They've also added a small amount of view kick towards the weapon. Now, what I'm going to guess by this is every time you ADS with the weapon's going to shake a bit more. Or when you hip fire the weapon, it's going to shake a bit more before it kind of, I say, adjusts itself to be a bit more accurate. This might be because that, considering that the weapon is quite powerful and quite accurate, that they kind of want to make it a bit balanced. It's kind of like Devotion in a way, where the longer you fire it, the more it will try to center itself a bit more. Now, in terms of gameplay, when it comes down to actually using the weapon, I find that you have to kind of rely on ADSing and hip firing on different encounters and situations. Now, when you ADS with a weapon, I recommend that you ADS if you're in close or medium situations. Don't try an ADS at long distances because the recoil on the weapon is quite astonishing. I found that taking someone out from across the map or on the other side of, let's say for example, on the other side of Eden in between the two buildings, if I try to take someone out from there, 9 times out of 10 I'll probably miss my first 2 to 3 shots, and then afterwards my shots should probably be a bit more accurate depending if the target's not moving or not. And I found that when I ADS with the weapon, I tend to lose a lot if it's over distances. So to save you the trouble, don't ADS with the weapon in long range distances unless the person is low on health and unless you have, say, amped weapon. That'll probably give you a bit of extra kick to your weapon and allow you to kind of finish that opponent off rather quickly. Now, in close range situations where you do ADS with a weapon, it hurts, and it hurts a lot when it goes up against other opponents. I found that every time I ADS against people in close range situations, I come on top. As long as you aim a shot on the head, the majority of your other shots will land on the body, and that will pretty much finish off the opponent for you, and it's relatively good, I found. Although, do be aware that you will still be losing a lot of your fights, because it's not as powerful as compared to the Alternator or the R97. Those type of weapons there, they shred and destroy. The Vault now, it hits, but it's not like one of those hard hitters. You can feel the punch towards it, but it's not as powerful as you expect it to be. Now when you hip fire the weapon, I found that hip fire on the weapon is kind of 50-50 at times. One thing I will say is do not hip fire at long distances with the weapon, because like I said previously with the ADS, you will get destroyed. This weapon has such terrible recoil for some unpredictable reason that I kind of wonder if Respawn actually knows that the recoil in this weapon is kind of terrible. However, in close to medium range situation, hip firing a weapon is also a 50-50 game as well, as sometimes you fire the weapon and it will either hit the person and finish them off, or you'll probably be missing a lot of your shots. And I've noticed that unless I put Gunrunner on to my weapon, 9 times out of 10 my shots tend to miss or go a fluke. And this is one of the reasons why I tend to lose a lot of fights with weapons, because if I put an extended mag on instead of Gunrunner, and I come in situations where I am up close and I have to hip fire, unless that person is in front of me, and unless that person is in a close range situation with me, I will either, 9 times out of 10, I will not land my shots if I hip fire. The moment I put Gunrunner on this weapon, I become a bit more accurate. That's a bit strange, because if I'm right, Gunrunner only works if you're running in a straight line, so, or standing still. So how that works in this case, I'm not 100% sure, but I found that putting Gunrunner on this weapon and wall running a lot more, or basically staying above ground, basically gives me a higher chance of winning many fights. However, like I said before, it doesn't hit as hard as you expect it to do, so do be aware that if you're going to use a weapon and hip fire, try and be the first person to land a shot with the weapon, as 9 times out of 10 you will not always come out unscathed or even alive. Now when the weapon is amped, it actually hits a lot harder. It actually kind of feels like the damage is boosted up back to the point of where it was as powerful back in the day when Volt was actually as powerful. It hits hard, and at this point there, when you ADS with the weapon, you could probably be a bit more aggressive with it this time, because the damage, you can definitely feel it, and you'll be able to actually ADS at long distances and take people out, because you can see the damage as well when it's amped. Like I previously said, don't ADS with the weapon at long distances if your weapon is not amped, because it takes a lot of your rounds, and 9 times out of 10 you will probably not finish that person off. Now if your weapon's amped, on the other hand, then yes, go ahead and ADS with the weapon, because 9 times out of 10 you will definitely kill the person when amped. And I found a lot of success when you're running it with Gunrunner and amped weapons. And as you can probably see in the current gameplay, I'm playing on basically crash site, and this is the first time I've actually done this well using this type of weapon with amped. And you know, the Volt is considered one of those weapons that is a low tier. Now I'll probably say that it's a low to mid tier weapon, depending on the player. If you're the type of person that likes to learn and like to understand how the weapon works and want to basically improve it, and you like to work on its weaknesses, by all means go ahead and use this weapon. If you're someone that kind of wants to be more savage and you want to use a weapon that has quicker kill and doesn't have so much of a recoil to worry about, I suggest that you leave this weapon, because this weapon will probably cause you a lot of pain, and 9 out of 10 you'll probably lose most 1v1 situations. But I'll say medium to close range situation with this weapon is good when ADSing or hip firing. Long ranges, don't fire with this weapon at long ranges unless the weapon's amped. That's all I recommend. So in general, yeah, the weapon's good. It hits hard now. Not as hard as I expected to do, but it does do damage. I can survive 1v1 situations now, and I can actually win majority of fights. However, the weapon still kind of kicks like a mule, and when not amped, it's kind of hard to finish off most opponents unless you're the first person to land the shots. If you're not, 9 out of 10 you'll be losing all your fights. So that is kind of the end of my review for the weapon. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then leave a like, a comment, and subscribe for more. If you didn't, then by all means leave a dislike. I'll understand, and I know where to improve on in the nearby future. Once again, thank you all for watching, and I do hope to see you all again soon.